Myself, Dr. Hanuman Prasad. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, IARE, which is located at Dundigal. And the topic that I am going to discuss is from Module 5, Gender and Culture. And the name of the topic is Gender and Film. The contents that I am going to discuss in today's topic, Gender and Film, are Introduction, Gender in Film, Traditional Film, Woman as Image, Man as Bearer of the Look, The Gaze, Gender Trouble, Gender Performance, and finally, References. And still there are some contents in this gender and film topic that I am going to discuss as part 2. Okay. So let's look at each and every content in detail. The first content is introduction. So let's look at introduction. What this aimed at and what are the objectives of this gender and film. This gender and film is aimed to understand how a film constructs and upholds gender roles. Means it is aimed to understand how a film constructs and how it upholds gender roles. And it is aimed to understand basic feminist theory, including the gaze. Gaze means staring look. Okay. And this is aimed to be able to apply gender theories to specific film genres. Okay. And it has the objective that by the end of the session, learners will be able to analyze a clip of their choice focusing on gender. Okay. So these are the aims and objectives for the gender and film topic. Okay. So this is the introduction. And let's look at the next content. Gender in film. How the gender in film act. So as you know, there are two types of gender mainly, men and women. Right? Men play active roles which drive the narrative. Okay? Whereas women play passive roles. Men play active roles, women play passive roles. This is the perception of the society. This is not the actuality. So no woman should take it as personal. This is just the perception of the society. But nowadays gender sensitization is about to be achieved. So both are playing active roles and both are playing passive roles according to the situation. Okay. Men are physically and mentally strong, whereas women are physically and mentally weak. Okay. To some extent, men are physically and mentally strong. Right? And it is not 100% true that women are physically and mentally weak. Nowadays, women are also doing the workouts and all. So they are also maintaining the physique and all. Okay. So men and women both are equally strong physically as well as mentally. But according to the perception of the society, men are physically and mentally strong, whereas women are physically and mentally weak. Okay. But when the gender sensitization is achieved to 100%, so one cannot give this statement. Because the gender sensitization has not been achieved to 100%, so one can say this statement. Okay. Men are allowed to look or gaze at women, whereas women are objectives of the male gaze. Men are looking or gazing or staring at women, and women became the objectives of male gaze. That is what is happening in films, right? Men are protectors, whereas women are in need of protection. So men are those who protect the women, because women are in need of protection by men. So that is what is the society perception. Okay. But as I said again, If gender sensitization is achieved to 100%, means gender equality, then we cannot say this. Both are equally strong. They can protect themselves. Okay. And men are dominant because they are independent. Whereas women are in need of male support. That is, they are dependent. Right. So whenever independency is there, they will be dominant. Whenever dependency is there, they will be less dominant. Okay, so this is the universal rule, right? So this is how the characterization happens in films. Okay, so that is what is about gender in film. Now let's look at the next content. Traditional film. On screen, clearly defined roles mimicking and enforcing social norms. Women did women things, men did men things. So whatever the roles given to women, they will do them. And whatever the roles given to men, they will do those roles. Okay. Molly Haskell argues that dominant ideology required women to marry and bear children. What is the dominant ideology? So women to marry and bear children, right? So after marriage, women have to bear children, right? So in that scenario, woman has to take a break because in that case they cannot be active as before, right? So this stigma becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is what is the stigma. So men are always active and they no need to carry or bear children. So they will be acting throughout. Whereas women after marriage, they have to bear children. So they need to take a break. Okay, but anyhow, women have to perform women's roles, men have to perform men's roles. Right? So these are the traditional film strategies. On screen, so they have to do the clearly defined roles, mimicking and enforcing social norms. Okay, these are the norms of traditional film. Okay, and let's look at the next content. Woman as image and man as bearer of the look. Means woman as image. Means woman as subjected to gaze. And man are gazing. Men are gazing, women are subjected to gaze. Okay, so the gaze. This theory is created by Laura Mulvey in 1970s. She argued that Laura Mulvey is a woman. She argued that in a world ordered by sexual imbalance, pleasure in looking has split between active males and passive females. What she argued? In a world ordered by sexual imbalance, pleasure in looking has split between active males and passive females. Men looked at women who were styled accordingly. Okay? So everybody likes their own styles. Okay? So according to their preference, they will look the woman. So this is the strategy going on in films. It is said that analyzing pleasure or beauty destroys it. So don't analyze pleasure or beauty. Just gaze it. Just look it. Just stare it. Okay? Don't analyze. Analyzing will destroy it. Which is the intention of this article. Which article? The name of the article is The Gaze. Okay, it is created by Laura Mulvey in 1970s. So these are all regarding the gender and film. Okay, which is a part of gender sensitization, and the module is gender and culture. Okay, now let's look at the next content. The gaze. Spectators then, whether male or female, adopted an active male position. Okay, spectators means those who are watching the film. Audience. Okay, whether they are male or female, adopted an active male position. So they will adopt the active male position because it is active role, right? And this meant women had to view films secondarily and from the viewpoint of male. So how the women are viewing or watching the films? In the viewpoint of male or men, right? Because that is the active position or active role. Okay. So this is mentioned in the article Gaze, which is written by Malwa, which is I have shown in the previous slide. Laura Malve. Okay. And like this. So women will show this kind of gazing positions. Okay. Woman has to be gazed. So then only the film will place in a big position. So that is what is the perception of the society, but it is not likely. It is not like that. So both men and women are playing the equal roles because this society is gender. Okay, means when gender sensitization achieved to 100%, no one will gaze at others. So both will be having the equal preference or priority. Okay. So that is what is mentioned in the article The Gaze, written by Laura Malve in 1970s. Okay. So whoever the spectator is, male or female, they will adopt the active male position or active male role. Okay. Thinking that I am in that role. Okay. Because it is active role, right? While watching, you will follow the active role, not passive role. So that is what is the mindset of spectator. Okay. And let's look at the next content. The continuation of The Gaze. Jonathan Schroeder in 1998. To gaze implies more than to look at. So what Jonathan Schroeder said about the word gaze in the year 1998. Gaze implies more than to look at. Means not just simply looking, it is more than looking at. So which is called staring, means continuously looking. Okay, it signifies a psychological relationship of power in which the gazer is superior to the object of the gaze. Who is gazer in general? Men. And who is the object of the gaze in general? Women. Right? So what she told, Jonathan Schroeder, gazing implies more than to looking at, means staring. It signifies a psychological relationship of power in which the gazer is superior to the object of gaze, means men are superior to women. So that is what she meant to say. So because the gaze is predominantly male, it reaffirms gender roles. Male as the dominant sex. So as per her statement, because the gaze is predominantly male, so it reaffirms gender roles as male as the dominant sex. Right? Because male is the gazer, female are the objects of gaze. According to the perception of society, and that is what is followed in the films. Okay? This is the part of gender and culture, which is the part of gender sensitization. And gazing pattern of men and women can be seen in this below pictures. You can see here. So women will look affridingly or one kind of sexually, and men will look or gaze with a lot of desire, with a lot of fun feeling. Okay. So that is what is shown here, the male gazing and female gazing. Okay. So that is how the films are designed. Okay. But as I said, if gender sensitization is achieved to 100%, then both will get the roles in equal priority. Okay. So nowadays also both are getting the equal priority because gender sensitization has been achieved to almost 75%. Okay. So when remaining 25% is achieved, then both will play equal roles. Sometimes women will play somewhat dominant roles than men. Many films are coming like that. And the next continuation of the gaze is gazing signifies a relationship of power in which the holder of the gaze is superior to the object of the gaze. That is what I said just now. Holder of the gaze is men and object of the gaze is woman. So who is superior? Holder of the gaze or gazer is superior to object of the gaze. Means men are superior to women according to the film or society perception. It revolves around Freud's theories regarding the pleasure of looking. So the Freud theories will explain scopophilia and voyeurism. So what scopophilia subjects? Scopophilia subjects people to a controlling and curious gaze. Okay, the gaze or staring is controlling way or in a curious way. Controlling way in a curious way. So this kind of pleasure of looking is called scopophilia. And second kind of or second pleasure of looking includes voyeurism, which involves gaining sexual pleasure from watching others, either watching men or women, but especially here they mean to say watching women. Okay, when they are naked or engaged in sexual activity. So that is how some psychotic people will get pleasure. Okay, these two types of pleasures of looking are there: scopophilia and voyeurism. Scopophilia subjects people to a controlling and curious gaze, whereas voyeurism involves gaining sexual pleasure from watching others, especially women, when they are naked or involved in sexual activity. And according to Malve, whom I have discussed in previous slides, Laura Malve, okay, in 1970s, she wrote the article Gaze. Okay, what Malve said, there are two cinematic processes working together in a cinematic text. So what are the two cinematic processes? The first one is voyeuristic objectification of female characters to get the interest of spectators, and narcissistic identification of male characters. Means male characters should be shown with more heroism and female characters with more glamorous. Okay, because as they pursue, they always show in such a way that female are the objects of gaze and male as the gazers or holder of the gaze. Okay, so these two cinematic processes are there: voyeuristic objectification of female characters and narcissistic identification of male characters. Heroism of male characters and glamourism of female characters. And next content is gender trouble. So Judith Butler is a woman. She wrote a book called Gender Trouble, which argued that gender should be seen as a fluid variable which shifts and changes in different contexts and at different times. What Judith Butler argued? She wrote a book which is called Gender Trouble or named Gender Trouble, which argued that gender should be seen as a fluid variable which shifts and changes in different contexts and at different times. She argues that sex is seen to cause gender. Sex means either male or female, and gender terminologies are masculine and feminine. These I have explained in the very earlier slides, in the beginning of gender sensitization. Okay, so what she argues, sex is seen to cause gender, means male or female is seen to cause masculine or feminine, which is seen to cause desire towards the other gender, means male towards female and female towards male. Okay, what she argues, sex, male or female, is seen to cause gender, either masculine or feminine, and which is seen to cause desire towards the other or opposite gender. Butler's approach is basically to smash the supposed links between these so that gender and desire are flexible. what she is showing, gender and desire are flexible. They are not rigid. They will change or they will vary in different contexts and at different times. So that is what is the meaning of flexible. Free floating and not caused by other stable factors. Okay. So what is the Butler's approach? It is basically to smash the supposed links between these. Between what? Gender and desire. So gender in terms of masculine and feminine, desire with respect to opposite gender. Okay. So these are flexible and free floating and not caused by other stable factors. Okay. So this is about the book written by Judith Butler, which is named Gender Trouble. Okay. Let's look at the next content. Gender performance. Judith Butler also argues that we all put on a gender performance. We all put on a gender performance. Means we are all on gender performance. We are doing our performance, whether in real life or in real life. Okay. This requires a firm understanding of how to do gender. Means what are the responsibilities given to you, whether you are performing properly or not, whether you are performing with plan or not, all these things. Okay. So a man would have to perform what asked to act like a female. So what is given here? A man would have to perform what asked to act like a female. A man would have to perform what asked to act like a female. Okay. Means man should have to perform female roles also, female should have to perform male roles also. Okay, nobody should be rigid, should be flexible. That is what I have explained in the previous slide. They will be changed according to the situation and at different times. However, they subconsciously have to perform being male too. Okay, female has to perform like a male and male has to perform like a female. Think about the stereotypical things guys and girls do. Guys means men, girls means women, or guys means male, girls means female. Okay, now think of this in filmic terms. So how the films will work out this concept? The argument of Judith Butler. Okay, so that is what is gender performance gives info. Okay, so now the references I followed are Gender Studies by Kadambari and Gender Sensitization by Rajalakshmi Kalyani. And I have followed one book, Gender and Culture by Deborah L. Best and Angelica R. Puzi. And DOI is given here. DOI means Digital Object Identifier. So if you open that DOI, you will get that article directly or book directly. Okay. So thank you very much for your kind attention. All the very best.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.